activist Zara Kay speaks out for the first time since her arrest in Tanzania.
Woo! Yay!
Yay, Zara Kay. And you know, a lot of you guys have been asking a lot of questions about what happened to her while she was in Tanzania, and now she's giving more details about it publicly. So Zara Kay, Tanzanian-Australian, is known for her work as an ex-Muslim and atheist activist. Kay recently spoke publicly for the first time about how the Tanzanian police were paid bribes by her former Muslim community to arrest her and have her raped in jail in retaliation for her anti-Islam activism. And some background. She grew up within the Khoja Shia Ithna Asheri Jamaat community, which is a global Shia Muslim community. After leaving Tanzania and gaining Australian citizenship, she started the foundation Faithless Hijabi, which helps Muslim women who want to leave Islam. In February 2020, Zara flew to Tanzania for a family emergency, and due to the global event, again, coded language for the YouTube algorithm, she extended her stay. On December 28th, she was called into the police station. While in custody, she was verbally harassed by officers and awoken to police groping her until she screamed until other detainees reacted. Quote, leaders from my former community actually paid a bribe to imprison me for a few nights, and that's why my bail wasn't processed. And they were also paid to rape me in jail, she says. Zara and a representative of her legal team also spoke about the lack of support they received from the Australian government throughout her ordeal.
Okay, well, if this is true, it's insane. Just for the record, just because we're friends with Zara Kay, we're not gonna ever act like any that any story is 100% true. So we're gonna treat everything as skeptically as possible, as we should. So, but everything here, if it's that is alleged, if it's true, I mean, the part that we know is true is the embarrassing way that Australia treated the situation without much of a support. Unless, even that actually we're not sure, unless they were trying to do something in the background that we're not aware of, right? Sometimes maybe they don't, governments do something. But if everything is as it seems, then the Australian government failed one of their citizens and devalued the meaning of being an Australian citizen when one of their own citizens was in trouble outside of the borders, and they didn't come to her rescue, which is really embarrassing for the Australian government. And the Australian government needs to be called out for this until they tell us maybe if something else was happening behind the background that we're not aware of, right?
Hey guys, if you're a fan of blasphemy and sexy Kali, like me, then that means that you probably want more blasphemous art. Well, I have good news for you. If you subscribe to our newsletter, link in the description below, then you get a free booklet of some of the tastiest blasphemous art available today. So, if you want some of this delicious blasphemy, and we're so generous that we update it for you guys weekly for free, all you have to do is sign up for our newsletter below. You can also go to blasphemousart.com/ebook. That's blasphemousart.com/ebook. Sign up with your email, and you get free gifts of this tasty blasphemy. What could be better? So make sure you sign up. Link below.
But again, so guys, I know it's easy for us to just accept stories without skepticism, but especially when it happens to one of our friends. However, always treat it like, like, if this is, put an if, and treat things with skepticism, even when your tribalism might want to, tempts you to do otherwise. But again, if this is all true, what a horrible experience. This is crazy. That's crazy. Do you guys have any comments on this? Well, look at the last.
Yes, so this is a really good article. These are the first times she's like spoken to the press since she got back home in Australia. So like, guys, she's okay, she's safe now, if you didn't know that. So she spoke to the Sydney Morning Herald, and this article that we're highlighting is from SBS News, and it's very detailed. And I encourage you guys to go read the full article, which is linked in the description. And the article did a really good job of highlighting how she has been approaching her government since she was even before she was even detained about her concerns for her safety. So very soon after she arrived, she was getting threats all over social media from her previous community, and she was documenting them, and many of them were, politically motivated or motivated by her activism. And she was documenting this and even approached the nearest consulate or embassy that represents Australia. Isn't actually in Tanzania, it's in Nairobi in Kenya. So a lot of her correspondence, she was reaching out to that consulate instead and saying like, hey guys, like I want you to be aware of this. I'm getting threats in this country. Like, what do you think I should do? And they basically were just like, oh, thanks for letting us know, but like didn't really provide her any more help. And so then when she was arrested and when there was this huge ordeal, she got so desperate that she actually started contacting the embassies of other countries trying to seek assistance. She spoke about how she started reaching out to the German embassy because she's like, I might need asylum and I don't know how to proceed. But I'm an Australian here stuck in Tanzania. Wow. And so, and then the DFAT, which is the Department for, I can't remember what it means. It's Foreign Affairs and Trade, which is the relevant authority in the Australian government, says that its consular staff around the world are not able to provide legal advice or intervene in legal proceedings, but can put an Australian detained in their region in touch with local lawyers. They also make visits to check in on a citizen's well-being and issue replacement passports. I consider myself lucky having an Australian passport, but at the same time, the consulate should have provided more support. They should have acted faster when they first knew about the arrest, Zara said. And Zara says that the DFAT only helped her get out of Tanzania once a team of international lawyers got involved in her case. One of them was Australian human rights lawyer Jennifer Robinson. Quote, my colleagues and I from Doughty Street Chambers in London got involved representing Zara because of the horrific ordeal she suffered in Tanzania, including harassment by the authorities, which we believe was a result of her work as an activist and human rights defender, Ms. Robinson says. The charges that were threatened against her were completely unfounded. We believe that the reason the Tanzanian authorities were persecuting her and pursuing her was because of her work and because of her religious views as a woman who has chosen to leave the Islamic faith and assisting others. She was hassled and received numerous incredible death and rape threats when she was in Tanzania and prevented from leaving the country for some time. And then finally, this is what I thought was just like so important. We were concerned when we first got engaged by Zara that the Australian government had dragged their feet on providing her the consular assistance she needed while in Tanzania to ensure her ability to be able to leave the country. And it was only after my meeting with the foreign minister's office that her passport was issued.
Do we have any verifiable evidence beyond Zara's telling everybody, like, does she have anything that she could use as proof that she was sexually harassed, and also that any of this has to do anything with her leaving Islam?
A lot of
verifiable proof.
Well, she said a source told her some of this, according to this article. So I don't know how you would prove that unless the source came forward, which they probably will not do. And even then, that's still at this point hearsay.
Right.
Um,
So she's not going to be able to push this forward much without any evidence. If she doesn't have it, like, it would
well,
just be her
I
word.
don't know what I can say publicly, so I'm just going to not talk,
Okay.
to be on the side of caution.
Okay. Yeah. So. Yeah, I mean, I'm not. By the way, I hope like nobody thinks that I'm suggesting that without proof it means it doesn't happen, right? Without proof, not having proof doesn't mean it didn't happen. Not having proof means that it's going to be hard for you to make anything out of this, like to actually get justice, right? I mean, yeah. So it's unfortunate. If it's just her word, it's if it happened, and if the only thing she has is her words, then it's unfortunate because there's going to be no justice. So
I wanted to just say that, so while a lot of people were saying that they thought the Australian government did not give her enough support, they issued a statement to SBS saying the Australian High Commissioner in Kenya was pleased to provide consular support to Ms. Kay, including assisting her departure from Tanzania, return to Australia. Owing to our privacy obligations, we will not provide further comment. But the lawyer was saying, you know, if they had taken action earlier, a lot of these things wouldn't have happened. Now they're grateful for ensuring her ability to be able to leave, but it should not have required the instruction of lawyers to obtain that assistance. So what she's saying is, yes, the government did make some overtures on her behalf, but only at the behest of lawyers. So they didn't do it when she contacted them. They didn't do it when they, you know, for any other reason. These lawyers had to sort of light a fire underneath them.
This is a good comment. She may have evidence, but keeping it. So the rabid atheist is saying she may have evidence, but keeping it to herself until trial. That might be a legal recommendation. Yes, that might be the case. Yeah.
Also, like Rivka highlighted, yeah, the lawyers have said, yeah, had the Australian government taken action earlier, none of this would have happened.
Right.
Also, Zara's legal team made urgent human rights complaints to the UN against Tanzania. Action that Zara plans to continue on her own, seeking to sanction Tanzania over her treatment. And I thought one thing that was really interesting that's highlighted in this article is that Zara talks about how, you know, she, for those who are familiar with her work, she helps people like escape countries where they're persecuted all the time. You know, it's something she's very familiar and passionate about. And she talks about, like, I never thought that I would be the victim because I'm usually the one saving them. Like saving people from persecution, like saving people who are put in these positions because they left their faith. Like I never thought it would be me. I didn't think that I would ever need saving. Rivka?
So also I want to bring up something that is mentioned in this article a couple times, is that Zara's family is still supportive of her. She has a very loving relationship with them. There's photos in the article of her with her family. And I think that's important to highlight because so often people just assume that the families are always going to turn against their children. And that's not the case. And in the article, it says that when she left Tanzania, she says, even my dad and brother said, go give them hell. You know, so her family is supporting her. And this is brought up in the article as well, is that she mentions that she feels like some of the Khoja Shia community are upset that the family is still supporting her. And there were threats against her father, you know, made, according to Zara, made by the police department and other officials saying how they would, you know, create problems for her father as well. So
they threatened her with hurting him.
yes. So so it's interesting because her family is supporting her and is still, and then that also puts them in harm's way as well. So I just wanted to highlight that she is getting some positive and loving support from her family, unlike so many people may make an assumption incorrectly that this is always the case, that the families are, not supportive.
And it wasn't always that way. She had to work hard to get to the place where she is with her family.
Indeed.
And her returning back to Tanzania for the first time since she left, when she was still a minor, was a big deal and a big part of that. And the local community didn't like that. They got upset and tried to bar her from taking her nieces to their school. They didn't like the fact that she was around because she's so outspoken, not a hijabi, a blasphemer at large, and a firecracker, and it's really heartbreaking and disgusting to see, how far some people will go in retaliation.
Marcia is asking, why did she go to this country? Her family lives. That's her country.
She's from there. She was born
She's
there.
from there. Her family is there. She's going to
And
visit her
it was a
family.
family emergency, and even if it wasn't, she should still be able to go back.
I do want to highlight this. I know I'm going to get in. Okay, so worldwide social media for good is saying, hashtag I believe in women. I'm going to respond by stop treating women like children that need your pandering. God damn it.
He's not wrong.
Yeah. Anyways, is there anything else you want to...
No, I think you're right. I think it's better to say take all women seriously. Or not even women, just take allegations of sexual misconduct and abuse seriously, but you don't necessarily believe them.
Exactly. Take them seriously, investigate every single accusation.
Hey guys, YouTube has fully demonetized our channel for supposedly hateful and harmful conduct, without telling us what we did wrong. If we get to 1,000 patrons, we will be able to keep paying all our team, our editors, our artists, without ever having to worry about monetization again, which would be amazing. Yay! So please support Atheist Republic on Patreon. Link in the description below.